Oh, well, all right, let me give you a quick update. We're doing a run and gun type video today because I just can't carry the heavy tripod and the camera. So we're just carrying the camera on a little tiny tripod. But anyway, so the shoulder's doing much better. I've been icing all along. I can't get it above my head too well, but it's doing much better than it was. And so let's get on with the environmental news. It's kind of interesting. There's a protest around the world calling for the end of fossil fuels, and it's mostly in Europe and other countries other than the U.S. because the U.S. wants fossil fuels. The majority of the people want to continue to drill and drive their cars and not end fossil fuels as we know it. But in Europe and places where they have mass transportation, they are calling to get rid of fossil fuels and to hold fossil fuel companies accountable for their continued destruction of the planet Earth. But there's another destruction coming in the planet Earth, and a lot of people are saying it's worse than climate change and worse than war. So let's talk about that as soon as all these people go by. Okay, so I wanted to talk about AI today and some advancements on it. I follow along with it quite a bit. My interest is more the medical aspect of it because I'm in that just turning 70s type age group, which needs a lot of medical attention, and how much I would love to have some AI that would fix my lower back or my knees or my shoulders and anything else that's ailing you at this age. It would be very nice, and they're saying that all medical AI is starting right now. Japan is starting it off first with what they call AI hospitals, which is they're building new hospitals integrated with AI, and it's quite something if you Google it, and you can find out all the different things that they're doing with AI hospitals. But one of the things about medical is that the age thing, they're going to get rid of aging pretty quickly. It's going to start in the next 18 months to 2 years. They say you'll have the first pills, the first shot, the first therapy of getting rid of aging. And at first it will stop aging, and then it will, after you get past like 2 or 3 years of the first therapy, they'll start the second form of therapy, which will bring us back to the age of between 20 and 18, something like that. And the way they do that is that they have these, all life forms have copies of all their cells, and this new AI takes these copies of the cells and puts them in charge instead of the old cells, and the new cells gets rid of the old cells, which causes aging, and so that's how they're going to pursue it. But my question is how far will AI go? How dangerous is it, the autonomy? They're saying that AI right now, like GDP 3, 4, 5, and 6 are already here. GDP 4 is already here. I'm not sure those are the right letters. I don't follow along with that too much. But that they say that has an intelligence of about a 9-year-old, and that it's quickly going further and further, 10, 12 years old, a person. And they're saying they don't exactly know how it got like that, but it self-taught itself with all the information that we're putting into it and got itself that far. Now another thing is autonomous cars. Here in San Francisco we've had them now for several months, and you see them driving around by themselves. Yes, they do parallel park, and yes, they do cause trouble. Sometimes they stall out in the middle of the road and block traffic. Some examples of that was not too long ago, one stalled out and stopped an ambulance from saving a guy's life and he died. And another one was an ambulance picked up somebody and couldn't get to the hospital because an AI vehicle, autonomous vehicle, vehicle was blocking the road and stopped the ambulance from getting to the hospital in time. So it killed those two people. But all in all, I've been watching them, and they seem to work pretty well. They pick up people and they deliver them, and if you want to stop somewhere, it'll stop and park and wait for you, and it's a taxi service. And they're saying that autonomous vehicles of all kinds are just around the corner, months to maybe a year and a half, depending on legislation of when they're allowed to be on the streets, such as trucks, buses, all that kind of thing. And we'll see lots of autonomous vehicles more and more, and we'll be riding them whether we want to or not. The only good with autonomous vehicles I can see is that there won't be any more honking. These things never honk at anything, and it'll become quieter around the roadways and streets of the cities because you won't be hearing all the honking. Now, another thing is that they're saying the AI is stifled by not being put into autonomous robots that can think and do things on its own. And that's the only thing that's stopping AI from advancing much faster than it is. That once it's put into autonomous robots and that sort of thing, you'll see the advancements of AI just skyrocket, and that humans will be less and less useful to AI because AI will be much smarter than humans ever thought of being, and will figure out how to do things much faster, and will then figure out what to do with the human overpopulation. Will it start killing off the homeless first and then the wealthy because they use up the planet so much? Then it'll come for the rest of us. How will AI get rid of humans eventually? And how long before that happens? Now, they're also saying that the overpopulation problem can be solved one way. That's a lot of the companies' CEOs and the people that are doing all this AI stuff are saying that humans have to stop birthing babies. They just have to stop if we become we get rid of aging altogether, which is, they're saying, is an absolute positive, will happen. It's just a matter of time of when they can figure out how dangerous certain types of getting rid of aging is. And once they figure that out, anybody will take the pill, and the pill will stop you from having severe pain in your back and severe pain in your knees and that sort of thing. Anybody will take it to get rid of that. But it's just around the corner, people. It's just around the corner. Let's take a walk and do some walking with this, since there's so many people around. But I'm telling you, it is time that everybody pay attention to AI as much as possible, because if you don't, it's going to creep up on you and you're not going to know anything about it or how to control it or being a part of the decision making of whether or not people get to decide on AI or not. AI this, AI that. How far do we take it? Apparently right now, there's no holding back. San Francisco happens to be one of the cities that will take over AI manufacturing, and the city will fill up with all the people developing AI, and then AI will take over and the people will be laid off, as you're seeing with tech companies now. Google's the latest, laying off several thousand because AI is already taking over a lot of software engineering and development, and this will just keep getting more and more advanced. And you'll see less and less people working. So what are people going to do if they can live for 1,000 years? They're saying eventually people will die, either by gunshot, car crashes, falling and killing themselves, something. And once they decide that once they're dead, they're dead. But people could last 1,000 years or longer. What are we going to do if there's no jobs and people don't want to work? Which is kind of the way it is. A lot of people despise work and say they never want to go back to work, the ones that are retired. So what's your thoughts on this? Have you guys been following AI? What's your news on it from your point of view? What have you guys found? So with that, with a very sore shoulder from walking, it's the first time I've been walking since my shoulder injury, and I need to exercise. That's part of healing. So I appreciate all the ups, the new subscribers, and definitely your comments on AI and anything else you want to talk about, such as the strike against fossil fuels. And until next time, it's hard for me to hold my arm up.